We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to episode 61 of Vikings Uncensored. I'll do a quick apology ahead of time here if I break into a little bit of a coughing spell during the show. I've been battling influenza since Saturday, so just starting to try to come out of it here a little bit, but the show must go on, so onward we will go. A little bit of news this week, not a whole lot, but in NFL news, they announced on Monday, I believe it was, that the scouting combine will return to Indianapolis in 2023 and in 2024.
Woohoo! I'm excited.
I mean, I always thought Indy was a good spot for it, but
You know, it was, and it was there for so long too. I mean, originally. So
right.
good news for that city.
Yep. Then in our random, hilarious, piss off Packer fans news item of the week, former Vikings legendary quarterback Tommy Kramer unveiled his new and improved Green Bay Packer urinal. At his place down in the cities. As most of you know, he had just a regular urinal in there before, painted yellow with a Packers logo on it. The upgraded version is a modified beer keg painted yellow with a Packers logo in the middle. And apparently the Packers fans are losing their minds over it. Doesn't hurt.
This, like you said, this urinal's been there forever. I remember a few years back with like a picture of McKinney standing next to it, pointing down at it, laughing.
Yeah, he's had it for at least a year now. And then now, of course, he's got a framed picture of the infamous Aaron Rodgers walking into a bar next to it, too. So that pissed him off a little bit more, too. So, but
fucking bunch of Nancys.
Yep, they were. Twitter kind of blew up on that. So, deal with it. Don't care. Then
Brian McKinney and Tommy Kramer hanging out is pretty funny too.
Mm-hmm. McKinney is a big dude.
I wonder if Smoot was there.
No, not that I'm aware of. No boat trips.
No boat trips.
Then, of course, the second round of OTAs started this week. I believe it was on Monday. and not a whole lot coming out of there so far. The media wasn't allowed to watch any practices. I don't think they had press conferences and stuff. A couple things came out of that. Offensive coordinator Wes Phillips came out and spoke very highly of one Mr. Kellen Mond again this week. So that's
fantastic, dude. I mean, last year all we didn't hear nothing, but when we did hear something, it was always a bunch of depressing crap out of Zimmer's mouth.
Don't need to see anything from him because I see him in practice every week.
I see him in practice every day.
Yeah. I was talking to somebody else today about this, and I would be willing to bet money that Kellen Mond has learned and developed more in the last month than he did the entire last season.
I wouldn't even say that, but we knew when we seen Mond, he was the first player on the field at training camp.
Mm-hmm.
So the willingness and eagerness to learn is there. So, I mean, it's good. It's going to be really interesting when we get a good look at the kid, a good, honest look at him, because we haven't had that yet.
No, because last year I'm pretty sure it was, Zimmer told him to go stand over in the corner and shut up, and
he's a smart kid. I mean, the kid,
he is.
He choreographed his whole pro day, and nobody does that, coming out of college.
Mm-hmm.
All of his throws and everything. This kid is a smart kid, and on top of it, he's got a little bit of get up and go athleticism to him too. Right. So I want to see this kid eventually, not this year, barring injury. But I want to see an honest look at this kid before we let him go.
Right. So that's about the only real player news that came out, or any talk about too much from the offensive side of things. Then special teams coach Matt Daniels also came out.
Matt Damon?
Not Matt Damon, not Jeff Daniels, Matt Daniels.
Jack Daniels?
Not Jack Daniels either. Not Jim Beam either.
Daniels?
No, Charlie Daniels, not him either.
Matt Daniels.
Yes.
Okay.
First time I'd ever heard this guy talk, and I kind of like what I hear from the guy. He seems like a really enthusiastic, fiery dude, kind of a Keenan McCardell type almost, it seemed like.
Fantastic. That's the personality and attitude you want.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I love McCardell so much.
Right. And he talked up Kene Wangu a lot during his presser. And one thing that came out, and our buddy Ted Glover mentioned in our Gallerhorn group that we're a part of, asking what kind of sorcery was this kind of talk. Coach Daniels said he, quote, freaking loves rookies. He loves to get them in there, love them up, and teach them and get them to learn stuff. I mean,
it's so ironic because you never heard anything like that come out of Zimmer's mouth ever.
No, 90% of the time, Mike Zimmer wanted to run over the rookies with his truck.
And the only time the rookies ever played was when he absolutely had to play them. Trey Waynes didn't even play his entire rookie year.
Or it was somebody that Mike Zimmer specifically wanted in the draft.
Anthony Barr.
Yeah. I mean, you look at the last couple of years, he didn't, he never really gave Cam Dantzler the time of day until he was forced to. Like the young guys up front, Kenny Willekes and James Lynch and Patrick
And you know
Jones,
what? When they got that chance, especially those linemen, they showed up.
Oh, yeah. Willekes and Lynch played really well last year, considering.
Willekes especially really impressed me. Mm-hmm. I did not expect that. And the dude was getting in the backfield almost every single play.
And at least if he was not, he was around the ball most of the time, which is,
And I love that, a nose for the ball. Yeah. Nose for the ball.
But anyway, then beyond that, interesting tweet from Chad Graff of The Athletic earlier in the week. He said the reason the Vikings did not push to get a wide receiver earlier in the draft was because of how highly they're thinking of Emir Smith-Marset. So, and we had heard before the draft, that Keenan McCardell was out there saying, don't take any wide receivers early. We have worse areas of need than getting somebody.
Yeah, we got a really good receiver room right now.
Mhm.
We really do, and we got a lot of unproven talent in that room.
So it'll be interesting to see on that.
People are looking forward to see what Blake Pearl brings to the table too, which I am as well. I mean, at the end of the day, he may end up being the odd man out, but I'm rooting for him, obviously. But
well, then
it's a packed room.
You got BC Johnson coming back. You've got what's his name? The guy that plays a lot of special teams.
Chisena.
Yeah, Dan Chisena. And then, Jalen Naylor we brought in this year, then a couple of the undrafted rookie guys. And so, yeah, it's going to be an interesting competition for those,
And we know Smith Marsette's got that swagger. We seen him last year. He got that touchdown going across the middle.
Yep.
And he's like, this shit's easy.
Mm-hmm. Which put him in the doghouse for most of the season because Zimmer doesn't like swagger. So,
right.
But,
doesn't like anything flashy on offense.
No. I'm surprised
God, what was that?
I'm surprised he let Jefferson play as much as he did.
Yeah. And then didn't let him play.
Yeah. Then about the only other things, 2 major milestones this past week. On Saturday was legendary coach Bud Grant's 95th birthday.
Buddy, good job. Still kicking.
Yeah,
still got his brains with him and everything. Still.
Yep, he's still
as ever.
He doesn't move around near as well as he used to, but he's, at 95, I mean, what do you expect?
Right.
And then not only Bud Grant, but on Wednesday, current head coach Kevin O'Connell turned 37. So
that's crazy. He's 5 days older than I am.
Yeah, he's 10 years younger than me. So.
I should be coaching the Vikings right now.
I think let's let O'Connell take care of that.
I'd be decent.
Okay, Zimmer.
we
don't want decent.
I know. I signed up for that one.
Right. Yeah, you did. So anyway, we want to wish happy birthdays to the greatest and the latest of the head coaches. So
you
see what I did there?
You.
You got a gift, my friend.
All right. So with that, we're going to move on. We're looking around trying to find some stuff to fill shows with over the summer months here, when there's not a whole lot going on.
We're going to take some spaghetti and throw it at the wall.
Yep. So I came across an article on the history of how the Vikings kind of came to be. So we're going to do a segment that we're going to call this week Vikings History 101. All right. And to start this off, I want to credit Mark Craig from the Star Tribune. He wrote the article that I used to get all this information from. So we want to give credit where credit's due. But how many of you guys didn't, or how many of you guys knew that the Vikings were not the first NFL team in the state of Minnesota?
I did not know that.
The first actual professional team in Minnesota was the Minneapolis Marines, who started when the league was formed in 1921. At that point in time, it was called the American Professional Football Association, which in 1922 became the NFL. The Marines.
That is some good knowledge right there.
The Marines played from 1921 to 1924. And then
did they win any championships, Rhino?
No, they only won like 4 games, I think, in those 3 years. Then the team folded after the 1924, sorry.
We're in the future.
Yeah.
We're sending you back to the future.
The future.
Days of futures past.
No, we're not the X-Men. We're VU. But then the team returned under a new name, the Red Jackets, and played from 1929 to 1930.
What the hell's a red jacket?
I don't know.
Fucking British?
That's red coat.
Oh, my bad, dude.
Yeah, it's a red jacket. I don't know.
Sorry, it's springtime, I guess.
Yeah,
The
But then
difference between a jacket and a coat.
during that, yeah, coat, jacket, blazer, pullover, whatever you want to call it. I don't know.
No,
Hoodie.
Vikings Uncensored. History with Vikings Uncensored.
Yeah, where we break down what the difference between a coat and a jacket is.
Welcome back to the Gentleman's Gazette. In today's video, we'll clear up some menswear confusion and discuss the differences between blazers, sport coats, and suit jackets.
Yeah. Moving on.
Where we break down what the difference between a coat and a jacket is. What the? Oh, that was good shit. That was
Yeah.
good shit.
Anyway, in
So
conjunction with the marine / red exterior clothing, there was a team up in Duluth called the Duluth Kellys, who
Oh my God.
played from 1923 to 1925.
Luke Cairns.
And then after the 1925 season, a guy named Ole Hogsrud and a few other minority owners purchased.
William Lena.
I mean, it's Minnesota, so you got to have an Ole. But
Oh yeah.
Hogsrud bought the Kellys and changed their name to the Duluth Eskimos.
I knew that. I knew
Which-
there was
yeah.
a Duluth Eskimos.
Yeah, which may be a name that a lot of you are familiar with. And when he did that, he brought the great Ernie Nevers over to be a player coach.
Nice.
Now, there was a little shady backdoor dealing there, and Nevers never had a actual contract with the team. He had a personal services contract with Hogsrud. So and when the NFL found out about this, they told him he couldn't play in 1928. So after that, Hogsrud agreed to sell the team and Ernie Nevers' contract back to the NFL in exchange for the option to buy 10% of any future NFL team that would come to Minnesota. So then Ernie Nevers returned to the NFL in 1929, I believe the Chicago Cardinals.
We truly are VU right now. Welcome to VU, everyone.
Viking University now
Yes.
with Professor Rhino.
Yep. Professor Johnson.
Then in 1960, there was a deal in place for the new team in Minnesota to actually join the
Nude
upstart
team?
new
Oh, I
team.
thought you said nude.
No, not nude team.
Oh, okay.
NEW. Not NUDE.
Oh no, you mean no? That's Nini. You mean NUDE.
That's what
nude.
I said.
Oh,
Clean out
exactly. Man. I need to get
clean
some
out your
air
damn ears or get some headphones or something.
I got headphones, but whatever. I mean, continue. My bad.
All right. Quit interrupting the professor. There will be a quiz.
Right.
So anyway, in 1960, there actually was a deal in place for the new team to join the upstart AFL league. They had a plan for a handful of teams to join, and one of them being the team from Minnesota. Well, the NFL didn't really like that idea, and they went to all the new expansion teams that the AFL was supposed to be bringing and asked them to join the NFL instead. Most all of them turned them down, except for the Minnesota team, and then the team that would become the Dallas Cowboys. And
good history, Mr. Professor Johnson.
But the kicker on that was this was a last minute thing in 1960.
And remember, these guys were all nude.
They were not nude.
Oh,
God damn it, Lance. Anyway, the kicker on top of this was that the AFL had scheduled to have its draft in Minneapolis in 1960.
That's awesome.
And then the team that became the Vikings pulled out at the last second. So,
oh, good. You know, it's always great when you pull out the last second.
You're right, just in time. One of the big players that was behind doing this was, interestingly enough, Bears owner, the great George Halas, who later on seemed to regret it as he hated the Minnesota Vikings once they came in. He just thought of us as a lowly expansion team. And then, of course, we go out and beat them the first time we played them. But
good old dramatic George.
Yep. So anyway, the ownership group of the new team, which included majority owner Max Winter, where the name Winter Park came from, agreed to join the NFL starting with the 1961 season, and the Minnesota Vikings were born. Now, falling back to that agreement that Ole Hogsrud had with the NFL from 1929, he was allowed to purchase a 10% stake in the team for $60,000, which he owned up until the day he died in, I believe it was like 1976. But there is your History 101 lesson this week for how the Minnesota Vikings came to be. Thank you.
That was great.
All right.
Good stuff.
Hey, I was, like I said, looking for stuff to talk about, and came across this article, and I thought it was a lot of cool history and stuff that I didn't even know. So, I knew of all these teams that existed, but I didn't know how the progressions worked between them, and that they were the four names were actually two teams and that kind of stuff.
My brain is throbbing with knowledge right now of the Vikings, like prior to what they were.
Well, good. Then you learned something today.
I did.
All right.
Back when they played nude.
They did not play nude, damn it. That's VU after hours. We're doing VU Friday night here.
Moving along, Rhino.
Moving on. We are going to roll into another one of our classic beer commercials. So you guys head to the fridge, grab yourself a cold one, check this out, and we'll be back in a minute.
This is God's country, the place Gottlieb Heilemann chose to brew Old Style. Heilemann's Old Style is brewed with sparkling, pure Wisconsin spring water, virgin water that flows from deep beneath the ground. Brewed in an old world way called Kreuzening, the most natural way to brew beer and the most expensive. Try Old Style, pure brewed in God's country, and taste the difference Kreuzening makes. In God's country, we value tradition. You see it everywhere, especially in our beer. Right now, millions of gallons of Old Style are resting in our cellars, aging ever so slowly, the traditional old world way called Kreuzening, the most natural way to brew beer and the most expensive. Heilemann's Old Style, pure brewed in God's country, slowly and naturally.
Okay, we are back. And now, as we have been doing for the last several weeks, we are going to roll into our segment that we call Brunswick's Best. This week, spotlighting the number 61.
Shit, I did 62 this week. I'm just kidding.
All right, what you got for us, Lance?
Oh, man, 61 rolling in. So I'm going to let you guys all know. going forward, I'm not going to rank these guys on who is better than who, because these guys are honestly the best that ever wore their numbers. You guys all find it upon yourselves to whoever you think belongs at whatever level, but out of respect for the players, I'm going to leave it up for you guys to decide. But in my opinion, these guys are the best of the best to ever wear this number in particular, and that's how it's going to go moving forward as well. Larry Bowie. He was an old school player. An old school player. An old school. He came back from he's a real throwback player. He was born in 1939. He probably played for the Eskimos for all we know.
Not if he was born in 39, he did, but yeah.
Bowie was drafted by the Vikings out of Purdue in 1962. Number 73 in the 6th round of the NFL draft. Bowie, excuse me, I'm sorry. Bowie played his entire NFL career for the Vikings, playing right guard from 1962 until 1968, playing in 92 games within that span, starting them all. He also recovered 2 fumbles in his career, but granted that he played right guard, and most likely those fumbles were because of the fault of ourselves on offense, but got 2 fumble recoveries in his career. Unfortunately, his career in the NFL came to an end when he had a blood clot removed from his brain during the 1968 season. Moving along, we have Wes Hamilton, born in 1953. He was drafted number 85 in the 3rd round of the 76 NFL draft out of Tulsa. He took over again the starting right guard spot in 1978 and missed just 5 starts from 1978 until 1983. He played in just 4 games in 1984, starting only 1, and then was shortly out of the NFL after that. Unsurprisingly, one of Wes's sons went on to play for the Gophers, and then was later a 4th round draft pick by the Broncos, and went on to have a decent 10-year career. And that was Ben Hamilton. Wes's life after football, also little where are they now tidbit here. Wes's life after football includes a successful career as a small business owner of Allegra Marketing, print and mail franchise in the Minneapolis suburbs. He resides nearby with his college sweetheart, Linda. He is active in his churches and is involved with charitable work. Now we're going to slingshot forward a little bit. Those 2 guys are a little bit more old school. We're going to bump it up here into a little bit more recent memory. So I got coming in next, I have Everett Lindsay. Now, do you remember Everett Lindsay?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, okay, so he was born in 70. Everett was selected by the Vikings 133rd in the 5th round of the 93 NFL draft out of Ole Miss. Lindsay spent the majority of his career in Minnesota, spanning 2 stints. The second stint, he wore 62. Anyways, not that matters. I won't use him next week. Don't worry.
Unless there's nobody else to use for 62.
Right, unless there's nobody else to use. So anyway, 7 years altogether he played here with brief stops in Baltimore and Cleveland in between stints in Minnesota. Lindsay played left tackle and guard for us, accumulating 31 starts along the way while he was here. Lindsay did finish his career here in Minnesota and retired after the 2003 season. Now, surprisingly, this week I have 4 players on this list. Last week I had 2. So,
And just, just the way the numbers fall.
Okay, so coming in last year on the list, last person I got on this list for y'all, Joe Berger. Man, Berger came to the Vikings as a free agent. Now, this is the only guy that came in as a free agent on this list. in the 2011 season. And he proved to be a vital member of the offensive line. Honestly, I think Berger had the best years of his career while he was here in Minnesota. Let me just pop that in there with him.
Oh, I would agree.
Yeah. Seeing time at center as well as both guard spots. His first year with the team, he primarily served as an extremely capable and reliable backup. And when he was called upon in his first season with the team, he started 7 games at 3 different spots along the interior of the line, to say the least. He was always up to the task. In 2014, JB started 9 games at right guard, and then in 2015, he took over the starting center job after John Sullivan's back injury in training camp that year.
Mm-hmm.
And he went on to start all 16 games that season. The next season, he ended up getting another 14 starts at center. And then in 2017, he started all 16 games at right guard for us before ultimately retiring. I love the Joe Berger story, and he was a hell of a player while he was in purple and gold.
Yep.
Following the 17 season, JB stepped away from the football,
Yes.
and officially retired from the game. In his 7 years in Minnesota, after coming in primarily for backup duty, Joe garnered himself 64 mostly great starts along the way. The interior of our offensive line, in my opinion, has not been the same since he hung them up.
Mm-mm. No, because we had Pat Elflein that came in to take over from Berger, who was an abject failure. Now we have Garrett Bradbury, who is following in the footsteps of Pat Elflein. So,
and this dude did it all at all 3 spots. And at all 3 spots, he played them well.
mm-hmm.
And like I said, while he was here, granted, he didn't have the greatest stints in Miami, and I can't remember where else he was after that, but he didn't play anywhere like he did until he came here in Minnesota.
Well, Berger was one of those lunch pail guys, that just showed up and did his
Right.
job. And
We brought him in primarily to be a backup, and he ended up, bringing so much more than what we
Right.
asked to the table.
right.
And with that, that's it. That's the list this week.
All righty. And with that, that is really about all we've got this week. Want to thank everybody again for watching. If you are new to the channel, or if you've been watching for a while and have not taken that plunge yet, please hit that red subscribe button down below. It helps us out a ton to help build the brand and get our name out there to more and more fans. Speaking of fans, next week, we will take fan questions. So if you guys have any questions for us next week, either put them in the comment section of the video here, or go on our Facebook page. We'll put a post over there for you guys to put them all in one spot, so we don't have to search around through 100 different places to find them. But we get a handful of questions, and we will go through them next week, and be happy to answer them as best we can for you guys, I guess. Again, if you're out on the road over this long weekend, you want to take us with you, we are available on all your standard audio podcast channels. So check us out there. Again, as is normal, the video will also go up on our Facebook page on probably Sunday. And if you watch this video for the first time on the Facebook channel, here again, please come to the YouTube channel and subscribe.
Thank you for watching, at least, regardless. First and foremost, thank you for watching.
Right, absolutely.
But please, it would really help if you went to our YouTube page and subscribed. Even if you don't watch us on YouTube, you might watch us on Facebook. Regardless, it would mean a lot to us if you went to our YouTube page and subscribed to the channel.
Absolutely. Again, with that, thank you everybody for watching, taking part in the live chat, as we do every week. And with that, why don't you take us out of here, Lance?
Well, going off of what you said, 61, by the way, wow. 61, here we go. Let's keep rolling. We're getting better, I feel, as we go on. My stomach tells me that we're just starting to catch our stride here. but the best is yet to come. Yet we got things stirring up here. Going off of what you were saying, now you can find us in a lot of places. We're everywhere. On Facebook, we're putting out a lot of media stuff that you wouldn't normally see here on the show. A lot of the people that follow us on Facebook know what I'm talking about. We put a lot of good stuff out on our Facebook page. Rhino runs our Twitter page, which I believe he does a good job doing that. So, I mean, if you look for us and it has something to do with social media, chances are you're going to find us. And a lot of the stuff that we put out, you won't find here on YouTube either. So
We also
find
have
us, subscribe
also
to
have a
us.
TikTok page and Instagram. Lance does the Instagram stuff. So
Yep, we got a TikTok page, a lot of old school Viking highlights on there. A lot of the stuff that you won't normally find here in our podcast.
mhm.
So if you're interested, check it out. Search Vikings Uncensored, and eventually you'll find both of our beautiful faces somewhere along the way. And with that being said, to the ones that watch and the ones that are joining us and the ones that are coming in and paying us their gratitudes every Friday nights, we appreciate the shit out of you. Keep coming. To those of you who haven't yet, subscribe and skull. We'll see you next week, Friday.
All right. One more thing I want to bring up as we leave tonight, as we head into the long weekend. Let's take a moment to remember those who have given their lives in service to this country for the military and Memorial Day. They're the reason why we can do all the stuff that we do, why we're able to have the long weekends, the cookouts, the time at the lakes, doing podcasts like this where we can come out and speak our minds without fear of repercussion or being thrown in some prison in northern Minnesota or something like that, or that kind of stuff. But again, just want to thank all of those who have served for and given their life to their country. With that, have a great long weekend, everybody. We'll see you next week.